Let's talk about something we've all dealt with, and it's always frustrating: the clogged kitchen sink. In this quick explainer, we're going to break down everything, from those first little warning signs to some simple DIY fixes, and most importantly, how to stop it from happening again. So let's dive right in.
You know that sound, right? That slow, kind of sad gurgle after the water's gone down. It's so easy to just ignore it and walk away. But that sound, that's your sink literally trying to tell you something's wrong. The real question is, are you listening? Because that little gurgle, well, that's the start of a clog that's just getting warmed up. Okay, so let's become drain whisperers for a minute and decode what those signals actually mean. When your sink drains slower than usual or makes those weird noises, it's not just being annoying, it's giving you a heads up. And catching it early is the absolute key to stopping a major plumbing headache before it even starts.
Think of a slow drain like a clog in its infancy. It's a crystal clear sign that something is starting to build up down there, narrowing the pipe and slowing down the water. Now, this could be a really simple fix, or it could be a hint that there's a bigger issue deeper down. The main thing is, don't just let it go.
All right, so if we've got a blockage forming, what's actually causing it? Let's do a little detective work and identify the usual suspects that conspire to jam up your kitchen drain. And here they are, the clog crew. Over time, all those little bits of food, the scum from your soap, even mineral deposits from plain old tap water, they all start to build up. You've also got tiny fibers from dishcloths getting in on the action. But there is one particular villain on this list that's responsible for most of the trouble.
And that brings us to the number one offender: grease. It's so tempting to just wash it down the sink, but when those fats and oils cool off in your pipes, they solidify. They turn into this sticky, nasty glue, and that glue traps every other piece of food and gunk that comes down, creating a seriously stubborn blockage. Seriously, grease is public enemy number one for your pipes.
Okay, so you've got a slow drain. Before you start looking up a plumber, there are a handful of simple, safe, and pretty effective first aid steps you can try all by yourself. Let's open up that DIY toolkit.
First up, just try flushing it with hot water for a few minutes. Sometimes the heat is enough to melt and loosen up any greasy gunk. If that doesn't cut it, grab a plunger. It uses basic water pressure to physically push the blockage out of the way. Then there's the classic science fair trick: baking soda and vinegar. That fizzing reaction you see, it's carbon dioxide gas, and it scrubs the inside of the pipes, breaking down smaller clogs. And finally, if you're feeling a little adventurous, you can clean out the P-trap. That's the U-shaped pipe under your sink. That'll let you manually remove whatever's stuck right there.
Now, here is a super important tip. Use hot water from your tap, not boiling water from a kettle. Why? Because that extreme heat can actually soften or even damage certain kinds of pipes, especially if they're older PVC. You could turn a small clog into a big, expensive pipe replacement. So hot is great, boiling is a no-go.
All right, so you've tried all the DIY tricks in the book, and that drain is still fighting you. It's really important to know when to tap out and call in a professional. Sometimes trying to force a fix can actually make things worse. So here's your cheat sheet for making the call. If it's just a slow drain from a minor backup, you've probably got this. But if all your DIY efforts haven't worked, if you're hearing really strange gurgling sounds from deep inside the walls, or, and this is the big one, if water starts backing up somewhere else, like in your dishwasher, that's your signal. It's time to call a pro, because that means the problem is much deeper in your system. And here's why that call is the right move. A plumber has tools you just don't, like tiny cameras they can send down the drain to see exactly what's going on. They can find problems you'd never see, like tree roots crushing your main line or a crack in a pipe. And of course, they have the right gear to fix it properly and safely.
So now that we're all experts on fixing a clog, let's talk about the best strategy of all: making sure it never happens in the first place. With just a couple of simple, proactive habits, you can keep your drains happy and avoid this whole mess entirely.
This is pretty much your checklist for a clog-free life. The daily stuff is what really matters. Always use a sink strainer. It's amazing what they catch. And as we've said, never ever pour grease down the drain. After you do dishes, just let the hot water run for an extra minute to flush everything through. And for some long-term care, a gentle, non-acidic cleaner now and then helps. Oh, and if you live in an older house, getting a plumber to do a yearly checkup is a really smart investment. It really all comes down to this: proactive care. Those few extra seconds it takes to scrape a greasy pan into the trash instead of washing it down the sink, that tiny bit of effort can literally save you hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars in emergency plumbing bills down the road. It's one of the smartest, easiest things you can do for your home.
So there you have it. You know the signs, you know the causes, and now you have the playbook for how to stop clogs before they even think about starting. You are officially in control of your drains. So, are you ready to say goodbye to that gurgling sink for good?